Hello, yeah. So look at you. Yeah, welcome back to this video again. Now you know what crawling and indexing are. You understand that crawling is the process of the search engine robots going through several websites to collect data, and indexing is the process of storing the data that has been collected about the website. Um, but something else interesting for you to know is that it's not every time that you want your website to be crawled or a website page to be crawled, and there are several reasons for that anyway. Why you would want a website page not to be crawled or indexed. Um, yeah, but before we go into the reasons why you would not want a website page to be indexed, I would like to cite an example of like should I say a building for you, a building which is like under construction. Um, like normally, if you have a building that is built up, let's say maybe a public building like a general hospital, a public hospital, or a federal hospital or state hospital, any hospital you can think of that belongs to the government. This is a public property. Anybody can access it. Anybody can go into it, get service, and then come out of it. But if this building is under construction, obviously, you as a patient or someone who is visiting have no business there. So what the site engineers would have to do in that case is they have to put a sign outside the building to say something like no trespassers allowed. And then when you get on that kind of site that is under construction, and then you see this big sign that says no trespassers allowed, you know not to enter such building or to enter such environment. All right. So all I'm trying to say with my explanation is that this kind of system applies to the world of websites and SEO as well. With SEO and websites, sometimes your website page might be under construction. Sometimes you may need to put it under maintenance, and in some other cases, the content is just out of date, or maybe the content on that particular page is private, and then it is restricted for users of the website only, or maybe subscribers only, or for whatever other reason that a website may want to disable search engine from optimizing the content of its website. So, in order for websites to do this, you have to disable indexing and crawling on the website. And I'm going to, in this video today, I'm going to show you several ways how you can disable search engines from crawling your website or indexing your website. All right, so to start with, let us use WordPress as an example. So WordPress basically is a CMS system, CMS meaning content management system. Um, Used for managing content and managing websites anyway. You come across that over and over as you learn more about SEO and about how to manage website in the future. But if you know that already, congratulations to you and kudos to you. So I'm first off, I'm going to show you how to disable search engine from crawling your website if you are using a WordPress website. So if I just use the Girls into Tech website as an example for you here, and then I just show you detailed instruction of how you can actually disable search engines from crawling your website. So if you're using a WordPress CMS, this is how you simply go about it. Um, so there are several ways you can go about it anyway if you're using a WordPress CMS. You can either decide to disable um, search engine crawlers or robots from crawling the entire website, or you can, disable search engine crawlers from crawling specific pages of your website. And if if you decide if you disable this robot from crawling the entire website, what the steps that you need to take is to simply go to the settings, click on reading, and then scroll down to where you find search engine visibility. All you just need to do is to tick the box to discourage that and save it. So by doing this, the search engine crawlers would not be able to crawl the pages of your website. But that is just one way to do it. And then bear in mind, this would disable crawling of the entire website. But in some instances, you want to disable search engine from crawling specific pages of your website. And the best approach to that is to install a plugin in your WordPress website. So there are several WordPress plugins you can use anyway, but the one that I personally use for the Girls into Tech website is called Yoast. So basically, Yoast is it's a WordPress plugin for SEO optimization of the website. So this is not just for disabling crawlers anyway. So it is an ultimate tool for search engine optimization on WordPress. So let's take for example that you want to disable search engine crawlers from crawling specific pages of your website. All you need to do is to go to the particular page that you want to disable search engine crawlers from. So by now you should have already installed your Yoast plugin. Um, what you need to do is scroll to the bottom, and then you'll see an interface where the features of the plugin pops up. Scroll to the bottom, click on Advanced, and then you see a section there that says Allow search engine to show this content in search results. All you need to simply do is to click on No, and then you save it for that particular page, and that settings get saved. So this is how you go about disabling search engines from crawling the content of your website if you are using a CMS plugin, CMS, right? So this is how you go about search engine disabling. So this is how you go about disabling or and discouraging search engine crawlers from crawling the pages of your website if you're using a CMS plugin like WordPress. So, you know, then again, not everyone uses WordPress. Some people just have their own personal websites, maybe built from scratch or some other CMS platform. There are several ways to actually go about this. Another approach that you can take is to disable crawling um, using the robots.txt. So basically the robots.txt is just a simple file or a simple code file um, with simple line of code that you put in there to tell search engines that you don't want the pages of this website, the particular pages of this website or the entire website being crawled. And a typical example of a robots.txt file is what you see on your screen right now. Um, by doing this, you're doing a little bit of technical SEO, and then we can deep dive more into technical SEO as we go further into the course. But however, this is what a robots.txt file looks like. Again, there is another way to do this aside from using the robots.txt file. You can use the traditional HTML code. Um, as someone who is into search engine optimization, you'll find out that somewhere between the lines, you really need to understand HTML code. You would have to learn HTML code, and trust me, HTML code is very simple. At Girls into Tech, we already have a bootcamp in the past where we taught people that are community members where we taught them HTML for free. Um, I would reference some of those videos on the course. Share you links to them. Feel free to go on those to watch some of those videos to kind of like learn more about HTML if you don't know about HTML already. But alternatively, there are several videos on YouTube where you can quickly grasp um, a lot about HTML. As someone who is into search engine optimization, you cannot really escape learning about HTML. And HTML is a very simple web language to learn and grasp as well. So another way to go about it is to put the no indexed meta tag in your head tag on the website. So you basically have to write this in code, or if you have some CMS platform that allow you to um, input the simple line of code in some kind of plugins or anything, that is possible as well. But in this scenario, I'm showing you the approach um, of someone who actually builds the website from scratch and then basically writes lines of code. So let me just show you an example of a website, my home personal website that I created from scratch anyway. And you know, these are the basic simple line of codes on the website. So this is the back end of the website. This is what it looks like. Um, so somewhere around the edge tag, when you get familiar with HTML, you understand what the edge tag is, and several tags around the website. But showing you an example right now, just to keep things simple. So somewhere around the head tag of your website, you want to put another meta tag in there that would tell search engine not to crawl the pages of your website. And this is what the meta tags looks like. Basically, you're defining a meta tag to tell robots, which are the search engine crawlers, to not index your website. So this is what the meta tag looks like, and that is how you go about it if you are to write it in HTML code. Right. So another thing you can do entirely is to simply set password to the pages of your website. Take, for example, the user profile or dashboard. You definitely do not want search engines to crawl such page on your website. Because I would imagine that such pages on your website would contain sensitive information about the user that you don't want to be in the public space. So that is another approach you can actually take to disable search engines from crawling your website. So in the other videos, we're going to talk more about technical SEO, where you're going to understand all of what I've just shown you right now. But for now, all I need you to do is to grab this, take note of it, and know fully well that in some cases you may need to disable or disallow search engine from accessing some certain pages on your website. I'll catch you in the next video.